I think this is related. It's like Glenn knows I've been becoming like increasingly libtarded about animals lately. Like,
Hmm.
and actually, I'd be curious what you think about this, Sai. But
Mhm.
like when it comes to nonverbal communication, like I've been questioning lately, like how more important humans are than like other animals. Just this, think of like every animal species around the world, right? And
Mhm.
like you look at like animals like elephants and shit like that everyone knows are very advanced. And you think about how like well animals like in remote parts of the jungle can communicate with each other non-verbally, and for all we know they could be telepathic. We don't fucking know like what actually goes on with them. So it's like I was like thinking I because like when Glenn brought this up like earlier, I was like thinking about that because like I think about that a lot too with like animals and like how people like
Hmm.
try to like act like humans are more sophisticated and important to them, our lives matter more to them because we're so much more advanced because animals
Mhm.
can't talk. But it's like, does that really fucking matter
No.
like in terms of like
Yeah.
spiritual terms, you know what I mean? And like people like to like project all this shit on the animals, like, oh, there's nothing going on between in their heads.
Yeah.
Like, well, we all know they can dream, for
Yeah.
example. Like everyone who has a pet knows that. And
Hmm.
like I don't know. There's just something I've been thinking about lately. It's like,
Yeah.
is like who gives a shit that animals can't talk to each other? It doesn't mean they're not still not like significant beings. They still have friends, they have their own
Yeah.
little societies and shit. And like, I think people, it's just like a cope that humans tell ourselves that, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
hard. I guess it's hard for me to
I
really
think
explain, but
no, I think that's true. I think one thing I'm absolutely convinced of is as we advance more as a collective, we will treat animals better, even if we still use them in certain capacities or eat them or whatever. It's not going
Wear
to be.
costumes of them,
Yeah.
solicit sex at
uh-huh.
light rail stations.
Yeah.
Perhaps,
Well,
perhaps
we
they're
will
advanced.
exalt them. Yeah,
Perhaps they're
exactly.
advanced.
Yeah.
You think about that? Get
It's
on
so
my
funny.
level.
Just as a quick aside, during the furry talk, I was thinking for years I was in this blissful denial, or not denial, but just this ignorance that I thought furries just meant like hot chicks with cat ears. I was like, that sounds dope, dude. And
How they
then
rope you
I
in.
realized,
That's how they rope you in.
yeah, exactly, yeah, yeah. But then I was
Twitch
like, oh,
streaming.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. It's how they get
yeah.
you. But anyways, please
But
go on.
no, but the animal thing. I mean, it's one of those things where every year we learn that they are more intelligent than we previously thought they were. It's like the universe age thing, where it's like, oh,
Right,
it's
right.
actually this.
Hmm.
And there's crazy stories of like, guys, they separate like a cow from its calf during the dairy industry, and like they'll do this and they'll drive the calf 40 miles away, and the mom cow will freak out and escape and travel 40 miles to find her baby. It's like, yo, that's like some magnetic GPS heart love shit. That's like crazy,
Hmm.
Yeah.
right? It's like that's like we're fools if it's just like with sci stuff. If we ignore it, we're just dumb as shit. And we just
Hmm.
gotta kind of acknowledge that this is a real part of life. You know, so
Totally,
yeah.
totally.
Hmm.
Aiden, I'd like to know what you think about the idea of just nonverbal communication, telepathy, and all that.
I well, going off that animal thing, I think that like there's a reason why human souls come down and incarnate in human bodies, and I think that there's a reason souls come down in animal bodies. And
Yeah.
like just because from like a human point of view, we are the most important because we're here for our like growth and development. I think the animals are here for their own. Like there's a reason that souls incarnate in cats. Like it's probably because they're all like sociopaths and need to learn like how to be calm or something like that. But there's like
Damn.
reasons why we incarnate on this plane, and I think that animals, yeah, as we learn more and like maybe do get back in touch with some of that nonverbal, like we'll be able to maybe understand some of that more. Because there's something to like being with a dog and living with a dog for years and just they're waiting for you by the time you get home, even if you come home an hour late.
And it's not
Like,
always food, like everybody says.
no,
It,
no,
Dude,
yeah.
yeah.
I hate
there's
that
something
fucking thing that
else.
it's all food. Shut up, dude. Like, dude,
My,
my dog just
my
wants. Yeah, exactly.
My dog has a friend of mine that like she fucking loves, and she knows when he's about to come over like 30 minutes before he
Yep.
even like pulls up his
That's
car.
Straight
Like,
up.
100%.
she'll
The
weird.
car.
like
Yeah, yeah. They
she'll
just
be like
know.
waiting by the window, just like waiting for him. She just intuitively knows whenever he's about to come over.
That's
Like,
what Rupert Sheldrake,
you know,
Terrence McKenna's friend, he did like a decade worth of science on that exact phenomenon of dogs knowing what's going to happen in the next 30 minutes their owners, they'll send their owners home in like taxis, take different routes, put cameras up. The dogs know, even if it's random times
so
during the
sick.
day and shit. It's crazy. Dude. Like dogs know that shit. It's
Yeah. Well, and that, I believe all that stuff. But Aiden, do you think in advanced civilization, do you think they ever got to that point of just not? I'm sure there's always some sort of verbal communication, but it adds a whole new thing to it. So I just mean, like, do you think society's figured this out in the past?
Definitely. On my weirder days, like I don't know if any of you guys have like
today's not that day. No.
Yeah. But Madame Blavatsky, when she was talking about like the devolution of the soul into these like physical bodies, like when they first came down, they were way less physical than we are now, and slowly we've kind of been sinking into this physical reality, becoming more physical. In times past, we didn't have that need for speech. We didn't even really have it developed or evolved yet because we weren't so rooted in this physical. So I think, parts of that, like, yeah, as we kind of step back and realize that the material is just a manifestation of the spiritual and that this is all kind of fake, it's not really real, that we get closer to that truth and are able to understand those underlying feelings. Like if you're in a room with someone and they just have just bad energy, just like hateful vibes, you can feel it radiating off of them. And I think that that's holdover from those previous times, and just because that's such a strong emotion and visceral like feeling that you can still feel it. But I think definitely at times past we had that developed, and it's kind of come around and been lost.
Right.
And who knows if we're going to come back? Like,
well, we're on the it's so hard. I mean, look, I can see some posts that are like, you're bad vibes. Like I can tell, but like for a lot of times it's like, we're not in the room together. I can't see it from the minute, like whereas if I'm at, like, I was at Chuck E. Cheese yesterday, I saw some bad vibes. I was there.
Were you really?
Then not for fun. I was there for a kid's birthday party, but like I don't just hang out there. Let's not get the forums going. But I'm not on any lists. But no, I was there, and there was just a couple people where I was just like, yeah, man. And one guy was just walking around with like a duck bill, like one of those crazy duck bill masks, like, and not like a duck either, like the COVID weird like ones. And he was just really messing up the vibe of the whole place, not because of the mask, but I think the mask was a part of it. But like we're on the internet now, to where like we're just with a bunch of people we'd never normally talk to. We'd never do this, but like you don't really know until like you really start seeing some shit from people that they're bad. And I think like that's going to be tough for us to revert back to unless we make a concerted effort, I think. Right?
Yeah. No, and I think that the internet it's a deliberate tool for getting us away from the spiritual and rooting us in the physical,
100%.
and taking us away from ever being able to get back in touch with that. Like, I mean, the whole idea that there's this kind of invisible field that everything that is ever done in the real world gets imprinted on, that we can go back and touch. Like, there's ideas in ancient myths of what this was, like the Akashic record, and now they're trying to like create that with the internet, where everything you do in this invisible webbed place, there's going to be some sort of imprint for all of eternity. And once we get the Neuralink, or once we get any sort of like augmented reality where you're in touch with this forever, I don't know, I think it'll be part of like fully cementing us away from that spiritual. And there's going to be some weird side effects from
it's
that.
got to come to a head. We're going to get you right back to the episode, but I just wanted to let you guys know of a few other things we offer at Rare Candy Industries. We have a Substack with free and paid subscription options. Free subscribers get access to all written content. That includes Bob's Red Pill. That's the best thing going on the internet right now. Trust me. Paid subscribers get full access to our premium episode feed. And that's just every episode we don't necessarily want to share with the general public, if you know what I'm saying. Again, that's rarecandy.substack.com. We also have merch. That link's a little long for me to say right now, but go to the description, go to our merch store, and find a shirt that's right for you. We have Rare Candy shirts, Dr. Bronner soap label shirts, Rishi mushroom shirts, all types of stuff there. Check it out. There's got to be something for you. And lastly, check us out on social media. On Instagram, we're Rare Candy Pod, but on Twitter, we're at Rare Candy Pod 1. All right, enough of that. Let's get you back into the episode.